As I can see, it is 4:30. I'm about to call to order the Planning Commission meeting today. So I'm going to call it to order. I determined by looking around at the commissioners, we have enough for a quorum. Rupert, do you mind leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. If everybody would review the minutes, if you want, y'all have read those and y'all are pleased, let me know of a motion.
Motion. Second.
All right, I have a motion. I have a second.
Give us a little number right here.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yes, Rutha made the motion and Shelley made the second. All right. All those in favor of passing the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, reports from officers or any other staff. Lee, do you have an announcement for us?
There seems to be there was a communication issue here. We advertised two rezonings out in the urban growth boundary, one on New Tullahoma Highway and one on Old Manchester Highway. Both applicants wanted their items taken off the agenda tonight, and they did submit it to me in writing.
Okay, so after the fact that you posted that,
After
they have submitted. So I think we have a room full of people ready to talk about that. We really do appreciate y'all being engaged with the notices and looking and wanting to be a part of the community. But I think that the majority of y'all are here for two items that have been pulled since the agenda. So if y'all would like to, y'all can stay. We would love to have y'all stay, but if that was what you were for and you want to leave, you'll be more than happy to leave. So I'll leave that up to y'all. All right.
Is there a point in time that's going to be back on the agenda, do we know?
Well, not at this time. Is that true?
Well, for the one that's CC7ZMA 200, which is the one that's on New Tullahoma Highway, it'll be March the 16th, 2020 at 4:30 in this room, and that is the third Monday of March.
What about the one on Old Manchester?
That one has been tabled indefinitely. The owners or the applicant pulled it off and did not state a time or a date that they wanted it back on the agenda.
Once again, I appreciate everybody that came out, being involved. I'm going to give it a second. Yes, ma'am?
The one that's on Broadway Street in Ansty, that was before as well?
No, ma'am, that is not. That is still on.
That's still on, okay, that's what she said, it's still on.
Okay. All right. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move forward with, is there any other reports? All right. Any old business?
No, Mr. Chairman, there's no one.
All right, let's go with our new business. Our first one is a subdivision plat, public hearing on Melson Thornberry minor subdivision. I think it says to create a 1.8 acre residential lot out of an existing 8.8. This is in our city urban growth boundaries. Do you have anything you'd like to add, Lee, before I open the public hearing?
It's creating one lot out of it, 1.5 acre lot out of an existing 8.82 acre tract on Thornberry Road. Been reviewed by the development committee. Staff gives it a favorable recommendation.
Okay. All right, this is a public hearing, so I will open the public hearing. If anybody has anything they'd like to speak on the matter at Melson Thornberry, when you come to the microphone, please state your name and your address, and you will be allowed 2 minutes. If you need to speak more, somebody in the room can designate their 2 minutes to you. So with that, I'm going to open the floor to public hearing. Anybody like to speak on this matter?
Are you talking about the one on Browntree Street?
No, sir. This is about Melson Thornberry minor subdivision.
can't hear you, so just let me know.
Okay, yes, sir. All right. There's nothing, I'm gonna close the public hearing. All right, I would entertain a motion so we can.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, I have a motion from Alderman Blackwell and a second from Mr. Crabtree. With that, I open discussion. Does
Can I
anybody-
ask one question, Lee? In the Development Advisory Committee review, which is held on Wednesdays, I have absolutely no comments. Does that mean they approve of it
That means
or
there was no
don't?
comments, they approved of it, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. That's what I needed to know.
All right. Any other discussion on this? With that, I will call the question then all those in favor of recommendation to create the plat, or the 1.5 subplat, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, moving on to site plans. We have Silver Street City Park. Is there someone here that, this is not a public hearing part, but there's somebody here to speak for the city of Tullahoma?
Hello, Chairman Grimes. I'm Kirk Blake, Parks and Recreation Director. And I could either give you a brief overview of the park and the history of how we plan the development, or we could move on to approval, whichever you prefer.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me do this. Can I entertain a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have it open. All right, any commissioners have any questions for Mr. Blake on this park?
It's the same stuff you've presented before, correct?
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
What's it look like?
I have not seen the procedure for the development of this. I would be interested in seeing that if anyone
Sure.
else does also. I don't want to force it just for myself.
I think
Yeah, sure. It'll just take a couple of minutes. I've shortened it a little bit from what I presented to the Board of Mayor and Alderman, but it'll kind of give you an overview to see of where we started and where we plan to go to in the future. And that is for Silver Street Park, that's located between Silver Street and Freeman Street. And it's kind of familiar with the area in between Ada Farrell and Eastgate Apartments. There was a large area, 4.5 acre area, that used to be houses at one time that were razed and torn down, and it was a big lot that was donated to the city, and with the intention of that we built a park there. So the park would be a great area to serve those communities as kind of like their backyard, basically. They're all living in apartments. So that is an overview of the property. Go on. And initially, we applied for some grants, and we just had to submit some maps real quick. We did a little hand-drawn map that showed some basketball courts and walking trails. They were grant for diabetes reduction, so they had to be things for active things. So we were suggesting active, healthy fitness activities, and that's what we proposed there. Moving on, to develop these plans, after we received the grants, we got $90,000 in grants. To do this, we hired Los Design. This is Tyler Fisher with Los Design. If you have any technical questions, you can ask him later. But we hired them to do the development, and we based that upon a public meeting we held at East Lincoln Elementary School, where we put up boards and gave a lot of options and let the people come in and basically vote on what they would like to see in the park. So we did that, and from that information, Los took what we wanted with the grant stipulations and developed a master plan for the park. And in the meantime, while they were doing that, we received another grant for $30,000 to, since our main thing was, and the main people were voting for was the basketball courts, we got a $30,000 grant to light the basketball courts. So in the meantime, in the design, so we incorporated that as well into the design. This is the master plan for that park that was created by Lowe's. And this area here are the basketball courts. They're painted real fancy there. That's another avenue that we're going down. It's called Project Backboard, to where they make art project out of the basketball court. So it's not just a plain basketball court. It'll be something to see down there. So right now that would be the overall development of the park, with a basketball court and a small shelter right there. And then the parking area centrally located in the park. And then this would be a pavilion and restroom, picnic pavilion and restroom, and then a playground area. And then, of course, you see walking trails throughout the park, and it gives safe access across the streets. And this would be Ada Farrell in this area, and it kind of connects the two properties. We kind of followed a social trail that was going through the park. When we put in the walkway, we figured they've already voted with their feet where they wanted a trail, so that's where we put it in. So, moving on from there, of course, the cost of this was pretty expensive. If we did a probable cost, opinion of probable cost to do it, it was about $2.5 million to do it. Of course, we don't have that money now. We have $120,000 in grants, and then the money the city's put in with it to just break this up into phases and take that approach. So right now, with the money we have, this is kind of what we're going to get, which will be, it will clear and grade the entire site, fix all the drainage issues that need to be fixed, and get all that ready to go and ready for future development of the park. And it will construct the lit basketball court right there. So that's what we're looking to do right now in phase one. That's what we're asking for approval for the site plan and for that phase one. Right now, the estimates to do that are $302,000. So as you can tell, the city is putting in a considerable sum themselves just to see this off to a good start. What we would like to do with some ad alternates that we're bidding, of course, when you figure the probable cost, you get the best estimates you can based on information of what other projects are bidding for and this and that, but you never can be sure. They could come in high, they could come in low. So we're hoping they're going to come in a little lower. So we're bidding an ad alternate to the project, and that would be for this traffic table right here and crosswalk, and then some additional sections of the trail, which would help pedestrian connectivity to the park, to the basketball courts, and safer access from the crossing on Silver Street right there. So we're hoping we can do that. We don't know if we will, but that adds, makes the tally up to $388,000 is what we're guessing at, but we're hoping less than that, so if we're able to do it. So that kind of concludes that presentation. So any questions or comments? Any technical questions Tyler could answer? Any other things? Maybe I can.
So phase one is just basketball courts, fence around the basketball courts, and lights?
Yes.
No parking lot, no sidewalks?
No parking lots or sidewalks.
Okay.
And right now, we don't have the fence around the court.
Okay. All right. What's the timeline for phase two?
Phase two, that would be totally based on funding. We will apply for every grant that is applicable that we can get to finish that, and then be requesting money in any kind of city capital plan moving forward. But I don't think there are any funding in place or any plans right now that I'm aware. But I'm pretty sure the state's getting ready to announce some recreation grants here shortly. It's about the time frame that they'll do it, but of course they're not guaranteed on an application either. So,
what's the reoccurring maintenance cost on the city?
Excuse me, the maintenance cost of
Yes.
the park? Well, we own the property now, so we have some basic maintenance costs. We're keeping it bush hog down.
You're improving it, so what's the cost on the what's the maintenance cost on the improvements, like?
The improvements will just be, right now, it will only be mowing and then what other issues come up with the basketball court. But it's a hard surface. We don't foresee any huge maintenance cost with a basketball court. One of the reasons why we'd want to go in that sort of thing. It's not a lot to do there.
Okay, thank you.
Of course, things can happen, but.
Only question I have on this phase right here, I see the trail coming from the Ada Farrell. Is that going to be paved trail? On this
It's
first
concrete.
phase? Concrete? What kind of, I don't see, and I might just be missing it, lighting for that. How much lighting do you plan on having there to light the walkways?
Initially, if we took that at alternate phase 1, there will be no lighting on lighting throughout the park on the trail there.
Just curious.
That would come if on the overall master plan, if we did everything, we would definitely have park lighting throughout the park, security lighting. But the initial phase, no. We're trying to hold down we've got little money. We're trying to get as much as we can for the money we have.
So essentially, we'd applied for a grant that we did not receive, like.
For the lighting?
For everything,
Oh,
right?
for
Yes,
Big
yes,
old grant, so.
Right.
Okay.
And we'll be applying for that again.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Where's the closest public parking then?
there are pretty large parking lots for both apartment complexes, and there's a small church over in the area. There's parking there. So right now we're developing this as a community park, as I said, like a kind of a backyard for the apartment complexes. So we're looking at it mainly being for local and pedestrian use. We're not looking for a bunch of traffic, cars coming in.
Okay. Well, I'm not so sure if there's public, if there is, I'm not aware of them, but where there's outdoor public basketball courts in the city.
Is there any?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
We have 2 outdoor courts at Jefferson Street Park.
Okay. I'm not out that way much, so yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
And I don't have a question, but, go ahead. You have a question. I just had a comment.
Go ahead.
Just a comment is that it might be nice to speak with the police department about maybe going in for one of the DOJ grants that addresses safety, public safety. It might be nice to have an emergency telephone there. So I know that it's one of their initiatives right now.
Be very much needed.
Yeah.
Larry?
Call the question.
Call the question? Okay. All right, call the question. So everybody in favor of the approval of site plan as presented, say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you all very much. We appreciate it. All right, next up is site plan for Dollar General, site plan for 901 East Lincoln Street. Lee, do you have anything?
Yeah, there's existing building on that lot right now. It will be demolished, and there's an antenna that will be removed, and they're going to build a brand new building, brand new parking area. We reviewed the plans, reduced the requirements as far as the agencies that are represented on the development committee. So staff gives it a favorable recommendation.
All right. With that, anybody like to make a motion to open up the floor?
Is this a public hearing?
No, this is not a public hearing.
Not a public hearing. I move to approve.
Okay.
Second.
You got that? All right, so now it's open. Comments?
Is this a new Dollar General, or will one be moving into it?
That's a big one.
Brand new.
It's right next to the Piggly Wiggly.
Across the alley, Burke Alley.
Okay.
What is the radio antenna? No.
I think that had something to do with the guy that used to own the Piggly Wiggly, wasn't it? York?
No, it's actually, that building was owned by Mr. Stone.
Oh,
So,
was it?
but it might
It's
have,
my
honestly, you're right though.
understanding
What's
that it
that?
was used for the radio station that used to meet in the building that was there.
Okay.
And I guess it's not been used for years, and so we plan on taking it down.
Because I think honestly, York actually did like live commercials from that radio station back in the day.
Wow.
So that's where you're getting that connection.
Yeah.
Sorry, little Tullahoma Lord there for you. Never know what you get here.
Yeah.
So, and you are the.
I am Dave Verlacy, consultant on the project. I just want to be available in case anybody had any questions.
Any comments or questions?
We have so many dollar stores.
Yeah, but that's a part of town that hasn't
doesn't
really
have
seen
one,
a whole
though.
lot of
That's true.
growth.
That's true.
This would be some nice economic growth in that area.
That's true. That's why I didn't know if one was moving across to it or if it was a new one.
Mm-hmm.
And they're putting in, they're gonna redo the sidewalk in front of it along, East Lincoln to expand it to where it's 5 feet, meets ADA standards. There'll be a sidewalk along the alley side, and then there'll be a section on East Grundy Street behind it.
And the landscaping will.
Yeah, is
have
the
been
landscaping
improved.
is there any?
Yeah, there's landscaping.
I'm looking at it.
Might not be able to see too clearly, you got a paper copy, but it's on
Oh, yeah. Okay, I see it. Never mind.
page 27. Yeah.
I can't read it. Ah, yes. Okay.
Any other questions? If not, I'll call the question. All right. All those in favor of the site plan for the Dollar General site store located at 901 East Lincoln Street, all those approve, say aye.
Aye.
Any no? All right. Motion passes. All right. Now we're moving to a zoning map amendment. This is a public hearing. Lee, what do you got for us?
The applicant applied for, it's a 5.22 acre area, there's 2 lots. One is the applicant's lot, which is the 330 Robert Street, which is the larger lot. Then there's a small lot that's owned by CUA, and it's in the very center. So it's got put in with the application, so we wouldn't have any odd spot zoning issues there. And I believe it's a utility shed right now that's on that lot that's bound on all sides by the applicant's property. It's going from C2 to I1 is the request. Purpose of the request, or the reason, is they want to operate a boat and RV storage facility or lot, and then maybe have some self-storage buildings as well too on the lot.
This is, it used to be a concrete factory,
Right,
correct?
it used to be a concrete factory. It is bound by I-1 to the south, near the railroad right-of-way.
Okay.
And then there is I-2 across Broderick Street. That is, I believe it's still a concrete plant, or is owned by one anyway.
Okay.
Company.
All right.
Staff gives it a favorable recommendation.
Favorable recommendation. This, one,
He's got hard of hearing, so we want to explain to him what you guys just said, okay?
okay, that's fine.
They want to put an RV boat storage there.
There's no manufacturing.
No manufacturing?
No, just storage.
Just boat storage, RV storage.
What's your hours of operation on
Okay.
That would be something the applicant would have to answer.
Is the applicant here?
All right. Yeah, let me open this up to public. Okay, one second. I'm gonna do this correctly, real quick. All right. I'm opening the floor to a public hearing, 2 minutes. State your name and your address, and we'll go from there. All right, it's open. Mr. Young?
Yes, sir. I'm Johnny Young, and I'm on the Broderick Street, Ann Street. I'm trying to purchase that property for a purpose of boat and RV storage only, no self-storage. No noise. It'll be cleaned up and fits properly, be professionally done.
Did you have a question particularly?
Is this, can I ask questions?
We'll let you ask a question since you have a hard time hearing.
RV storage?
That's all.
Okay, it's not manufacturers.
No, sir.
He said he's going to clean it up real nice and make it look
It's a
professional.
mess.
Yeah.
Has been.
And he's gonna put a fence around it, of course, because that's why people have their boat and look for
Yeah, he's
protection.
already got a fence around this. Okay.
If you have a question, can you come state your name, and so we'll do this correctly? I'm sorry.
If you have a question, can you go up and state your name?
No, what? I've got somebody else coming real quick, and then, Yes,
My
sir.
name is Wilfred Johnson. I live at 312 Lindenwood Street.
Okay.
Which is right across the street from the last company. I just jotted down a couple of questions on the traffic. How is the traffic going to be affected in that area, especially along Ann Street, which is a street that runs parallel to our property right now? And you addressed the noise. You said there won't be any noise there.
Yeah, other than normal trucks and stuff coming out.
Okay, well, how many, is it gonna be a 24-hour operation or?
It'll be gated. It'll be gated and have a code, deal with the code. We'll pick up the RV or drop off an RV, but most likely it's gonna be mostly daytime stuff. There'll be a gate, there'll be a fence going into the property from Roderick Street. It'll be 70 foot in. And there'll be an electric gate on the inside, so they pull completely off the street with an RV or a boat or whatever they have. They completely off the street, and they punch the code and go inside.
Okay, but what about from Ann Street?
No entrance. No entrance.
No entrance there. So Ann Street will not be affected.
Should not be.
All right. Did he have another question?
I can say my name.
Yeah, please.
It's Holland State. There be no interest in the plant from Ann Street?
No, sir.
Okay.
There's one there now that we cut off.
Think on Broderick maybe, or
On the Broderick, right in the center of Broderick, where the old
right where it
existing.
is now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I think you answered my other questions. You're not going to be producing anything there, or you don't know the hours of operation yet, and so there won't be much noise level by reading it.
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. All right. Do we have any other comments from the public? All right. If not, I will close it. All right. I'd entertain a motion. So
Move to approve.
Second.
All right. We've got it. Let's open it up for discussion.
I have two questions. You answered one of them because you said the only entrance and egress to this will be on Broderick Street, as we understand it, in the center of the
I
lot.
kind of misstated that. There is a gate currently on the side of the railroad tracks where Tullahoma Utilities comes into that building.
Yep.
I've got to visit with them. They may want that left there. If not, I'll take that out too.
Okay.
It'll be the one entrance, but I have to get with them before I can answer that question 100%.
Okay. The other question I have is, and this may be, Lee, you may be able to answer this better. Is there any plans for landscaping around the areas where we have the residential areas adjacent to or across the street from this to improve that? Is there any called out?
What will end up happening is that wherever he's going to park, it's got to be paved, and so there'll be some landscaping requirements for wherever he's going to put the parking at. If
So,
it's unobstructed.
Anywhere he's parking a boat, he's going to have some landscaping.
Well, not on
or
the
parking boats.
not on the side of Broderick, but
But on Ann Street and the other streets there.
well, I guess it's just Ann Street altogether. Is all it is.
Okay.
Are you asking about screening?
Well, I was
Pedestrian
doing it from the aspect of two things. One is with the landscaping, you have noise protection, and you also has the visual. You don't have their houses staring into this storage place, and that's why I asked.
This is not a planned unit development, is it? So it would
No,
not
this
have
is-
any buffer or screening
Well,
requirements?
no, but what will end up happening is they'll have to do a site plan for the parking area. That doesn't come to the planning commission, that just goes to the development committee. And there are some landscaping requirements for new parking areas.
Yeah, I knew there was
But not
some requirements for it. That's why I want to know. And you're ready to meet those requirements.
Yeah, we haven't even got that far yet.
Yeah,
But yeah, we started to do landscaping.
yeah, I'm satisfied.
Any other questions? Any other comments? And this one goes for our approval to the mayor and Boulder.
No, this is
strictly us.
Oh, no, this is recommendation.
This
I'm
is
sorry.
recommendation.
You're
That's
correct.
what I thought.
This is a recommendation.
All right. So I will call the question and say, all those in favor of a favorable recommendation to the mayor and board and alderman, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Motion passes. All right. Do we have any other new business? All right. Then our next meeting will be March 16th, 2020. Look for a motion to adjourn. We don't have to do that. Never mind. I adjourn.